Many of us have a new homeschool year starting and we want to start off on the right foot, don't we? And so here are my 5 tips for a successful homeschool day. If you're new here, I'm Rian, a Christ-following wife and a homeschool mom to 3 boys. Here we talk all things homeschool, and we will learn together how to use our roles as wife, mom, teacher, and homemaker in order to glorify God. So I know some days just go to poop no matter what. Some days are just kind of destined to be those days where no amount of planning is going to redeem them. But as you've heard me say time and time again, failure to plan is a plan to fail. So here are just some tips that I have on how to plan your day where you have the best chance for success. So my first tip would be don't waste your morning. And I know before you start in on me, I know not everyone is a morning person. I know not everyone has kids who want to do school first thing in the morning. My kids do not either. And so I am not telling you to wake up at 4 a.m. and start your kids on school at 6 a.m. If that works for you, by all means do that. But more what I'm saying is sometimes we have a tendency of, well, we don't need to start school until, 9. And so I'm just going to kind of hang out till then. And it's very easy to wake up at 6 and then all of a sudden it's 9 o'clock and you're like, where did the time go? What have I done? And really you've scrolled on your phone or just laid around or done whatever. And so I'm just saying, don't just waste your morning. Make sure you're doing something with your morning. Now, you may not be an early riser, but whenever it is that you do wake up, maybe that's something you want to work on is waking up earlier. But if you're content with the time that you are waking up, make sure that you're doing something productive with your morning. And I don't mean you necessarily have to get up and start scrubbing bathrooms either, but that could be, hey, I want to get my prayer time in before I start handling the kids, or I want to read my Bible. I want to get my exercise in, or maybe you want to get a head start on chores. You want to unload the dishwasher, start a little laundry, whatever that is for you, get a head start in the morning. And if you do have kids that can start early in the morning, get them started on school early in the morning. If I had kids who would, that's how I would do it. And I have one son who, if I'm like, hey, if you start your school now, then you'll be done by 11 o'clock and the rest of your day is free. You can do what you want. And that really encourages him. I have other kids who are just like, I'll wait, I'll do it later. And I have to work with that. But don't waste your morning. No matter what you start something when you wake up. Number 2, set a goal or an intention for the day. Now this could be like a tangible goal, like I want to get through everyone's math lesson today, or I want to clean all the bathrooms in my house today. It can be something like that. Or it can be more of like a spiritual goal or a character goal. Like I really want to buckle down and be consistent in my discipline today. Maybe you are like me and have a 4-year-old who is starting to exhibit some undesirable character traits. We'll just go with that. And you're like, no, today's the day where I lay out for him, like, this is where we've been going wrong and this is what we need to fix. And you just start course correcting that day. Or maybe you're like, dude, I need to have kind of a spiritual reset. Whatever your goal is for that day, set it and write it down. And that way it's there and you're like, okay, this is what I have to do today. And make that your focus for the day so that you're not just kind of aimlessly going about your day, but you're like, okay, here is the goal that I'm trying to attain today. And so you can look back on that, whether you write it in your planner or just on a Post-it note somewhere where you'll see it. Just kind of bring that back to your mind and make sure that whatever you're doing throughout that day is to help you get to that goal. My 3rd tip is something that some people are like, no, but I've really found that it works. Do your littles first. And so I found that maybe, your 3-year-old doesn't jump out of bed just like raring and ready to go. But by and large, I found that those kind of 2nd grade on down kind of wake up more raring and ready to go than those upper elementary and middle school kids especially. And so strike while the iron's hot, right? So if they are just like ready to go, their minds are sharp, start in on school and get them done first. I kind of like to use that one-room schoolhouse approach that I think the Duggars have, talked about, where we kind of start everyone in together, but I'm mostly focused on those littler kids, and the bigger kids are either helping me with the younger ones or they are working on independent type work. And then as the littles file out, then I can work with the bigger boys because they have longer attention spans in theory. And then they also, can exercise patience. They can wait for their siblings. They're more well-versed in that kind of stuff. And if you're like, Ryan, you don't know my family, this would never work, this would never work. Okay, fine. Maybe you don't have to do your littles first, although I really encourage you to at least try it. But whatever it is, have some sort of routine so that everyone in the family knows the expectation. Everyone knows, okay, so-and-so goes first, then mom works on us, then we do our family subjects or whatever it is. Just have some sort of expectation so that everyone's on the same page and you're not just, you know, oh, hey, now it's your turn to do this. And like, whoa, but I wanted to go play. And then, you know, you have the tantrums and all the things. Have some sort of routine and expectation. Number 4, have an end in sight. And I have not always been great at this, but you need to have a goal both for you and for your kiddos that, you know, not necessarily the goal that I talked about before, where this is kind of our focus for the day, but more of a goal like, this is when things end. This is our finish line right here. And it needs to be something tangible. So whether it be, we are working for 3 hours and you set a timer for 3 hours, and then at 3 hours, when that timer goes off, you're done. Or whether that be kind of an anchor, like we're working until dinner time. Or, you know, that seems kind of long if you start early in the morning, but whatever that anchor is, we're working until ballet class at 2 o'clock or whatever it is. You need to have kind of that anchor. Or, you know, if you don't want to do an anchor or like a set time, maybe it's just an accomplishment. Like, we will be done when this, and this get done. And so that might not be a set time, but that kid will know, okay, I'm not getting up until my math and language arts are done. So I need to just focus and get it done, right? But sometimes if we just have kind of, you're going to work until mom says we don't have to work anymore, they're not really motivated to work then. It's like, well, if there's really no end in sight, then I'm just going to sit here and waste my time. But if they have a goal they're working toward or a set amount of time where they know, okay, when 5 o'clock hits, we can be done, or when dinner time comes, we can be done, or whatever it is, I think they're going to work a lot better. And then my last tip is something new that I'm starting, but it's something that I have seen in some of my friends, them using it, and I think that it's definitely going to be helpful to more keep track, because my older boys are getting more and more independent, and so I can kind of not necessarily forget them, but just be like, oh, they're working on independent work, and then I don't check back in until way later, and they've, you know, made mistakes on their work, or they've been doing things sloppily and I haven't corrected it. And so these are going to be tethered checks. So I haven't set in stone exactly when we're going to do them, but maybe, you know, after lunch, we're going to have kind of a check-in time, or after dinner, we'll have a check-in time, or, you know, whatever those anchors are in your day that you can use. But this isn't going to be just school. So it is going to be, hey, let me look over your math. Hey, let me look over your paper that you wrote or whatever. But it's also going to be an emotion check. It's going to be an attitude check. Are you seeing character traits in yourself or in your children that you're like, I'm not liking this? And you're going to have talks about it. So this may be a time when you need to say, hey, mom has had a bad attitude today. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Let's try something new. Or it may be, hey, I've noticed you being really rude to your brother, and we're not going to do that. I think you need to check your heart and apologize. Whatever it is, you're going to address it, whether that's, you know, grading a paper, or whether it's repenting, confessing, you know, going through that whole thing. Or maybe it's just like, hey, let's have a powwow. This is not going well. Let's see, and let them help you diagnose what's going wrong. And so sometimes we don't have those powwows until it's absolutely necessary and everyone's crying and really done for the day. But I think if we have those kind of scheduled in our day, then we can avoid those big blow-ups that kind of ruin the whole day. So this may not be the perfect all-inclusive list, but hopefully it is a good start for you. If you want to learn more about scheduling, check out this video here. I'll talk to you next time. Bye. My 5 tips for a successful setup. So here